Welcome, everybody, to the Brunswick County Board of Education meeting, July 8th, 2025. And we'll start tonight's meeting with a moment of silence. And next up, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Gainey is going to lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, in front of you, you have the regular meeting agenda. If I can have a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Gainey.
Second.
Second by Ms. Cook. All in favor say aye. Aye. And next up, we have public address. We have one speaker tonight, Mr. Don Evans.
Discussions regarding particular individual employees, litigation, student records, or other matters which may be required to be kept confidential may not be discussed in the open forum setting. The chairman will have the responsibility to determine matters of discussion that may be inappropriate and rule the speaker out of order if necessary. Presentations will be limited to 3 minutes per person or 3 minutes per organization.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Don Evans, representing Gideon's International. The Gideons were organized in July of 1899 in Wisconsin. And today we have about 245,000 Gideons and auxiliary members that distribute Bibles in 199 countries. I represent the Brunswick County camp. Gideon Bibles are printed in 3 locations in the world and are available in 110 languages. Last year, 67 million copies were given out, and since our founding, we have distributed 2.6 billion copies worldwide. All of the Bibles we distributed are paid for through contributions and donated free to all recipients. The majority of our funding is received from donors in the United States. North Carolina is the top donor in America. And taken as a whole, the people of Brunswick County are a major North Carolina contributor. We are requesting and would like to place a 2x6 folding table in the cafeteria of the middle schools in Brunswick County for 2 days in the fall and 2 days in the spring. We will place testaments like these on the tables, and we will not be present on those days. Instead, we will attach a sign to the front of our table that reads, "Free. Take one, please." This has been a widespread, long-standing practice of Gideons in public schools across the nation, and we are not aware of any federal law that prohibits this practice. If the board has no objection, we will work with the principal of each school to get their approval for our proposal, and we will adhere to all their related instructions and expectations. We are grateful for your consideration, and we thank you for what you do for the education of our Brunswick County students. As a side note, my mother came to Ash, or Walkmall School, by way of D.C. and Raleigh, and what is now UNCG, in the mid-40s. She married a young man there who had returned from Okinawa as a Marine, and they had 3 children. I'm the oldest of those 3 children. 2 of us graduated from Walkmall High and 1 from West Brunswick. I then married a lady who taught at Walkmall. My mother retired from Walkmall. My wife retired from teaching at Walkmall, and we have 1 son, Scott, and he works at a business in Charlotte where I retired 4 years ago from working for 47 years. One of my fondest memories of Miss Judy teaching was that every year when the end of the grade teaching scores came, the Stateport Pilot printed them 1 day before the Beacon. And so I would drive from Ash to Southport before the ink dried so she could get that copy of the Pilot and see if her students scored the highest of any grades on that level in the county. And she did a lot of the time. She loved to teach. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you. All right, and there's no board salutes tonight. Board members, if I can have a motion for the approval of the minutes from the June 3rd regular meeting, the June 12th special called meeting to review and approve a property purchase, the June 17th committee meetings consisting of operations, curriculum, policy, and finance, and the June 23rd special called meeting for the annual evaluation of the superintendent.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Moffett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And next up, we have committee reports and Ms. Cook.
All right, for the Operations Committee, we had several items. One, we had Doug Sherwood from Sawyer Sherwood and Associate who shared information regarding the timelines for a new school. And he said that this would, to achieve the goal of operation by August of 2028, the firm believes that master planning should be in place by July 15th, 2025, which is next week. This would be followed by a schematic design in October 2025, another design development by March 2026, and a completion of construction documents by November 2026. In providing all permits and things would go as planned, then there was a proposal that the construction could take place through July 2028, allowing time to open up in the 2028 to 2029 school year. So we'll see how that works out. Then we had a demographic report from Craig Eckert, and then we also had an update on a purchase contract. We had made a purchase contract on June the 12th, and this was amended, so the revision was made by the board and approved to counter the offer that we had proposed initially. Then we had information from Mr. Kim Harmon about the purchase of a capital asset planning from Schneider Electric, which would track the mechanical equipment. They had also done some work with us as far as lighting several years back, and the staff had requested for this that the board would approve a contract in the amount of $119,322 with an option to renew additional one-year term. And that will be on the consent agenda for tonight. Concludes operations report.
Thank you. And next, we'll have Ms. Moffett, who will be doing curriculum and policy and finance and HR.
Okay, I just want to highlight some of the things that were discussed. The board previously approved the expansion of the Yonder Pouch program at all middle schools and the Rise and Achieve academies at the coast. And at the request of the board, Superintendent Cole researched the cost of implementing the pouches at the high schools. But after discussion about logistics and the cost, which would be around $130,000, and timeline, Superintendent Cole asked the board to reevaluate use in high schools for the 26-27 school year if the board desires. It's been very successful at the middle schools, and we'll just reevaluate after this year for the high schools. The Lions Club vision screening MOU, Mrs. Quinlan brought the Lions Club MOU and the interim nursing contract amendment. Both are placed on tonight's consent agenda. Policy 6420, contracts with the board. This policy modifies the guidance for school-level contracts to require superintendent rather than board approval for contracts up to $10,000 rather than $5,000. And this will allow more timely and efficient operations for schools as they seek to process contracts for necessary goods or services. This policy is also on the consent agenda for tonight. And one last thing, the ProCare contract for ECTA services. With our schools struggling to fill EC positions, we contracted with ProCare to provide ECTAs and speech-language staffing for the Exceptional Children's Department. And this opportunity is still available for those positions at a cost of $32 to $35 per hour, which is in line with current Brunswick County Schools ECTAs, including the cost of their benefits. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you. Board members, in front of you, you have the consent agenda. If I can have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Cook,
Second.
second by Ms. Moffett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And next up, we have the action agenda. The first one is policy 7410, teacher contracts. This is the second reading. If there's no discussion, if I can have a motion to approve that.
I make a motion, we approve that.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Moffett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And next, we have policy 7510, it's a leave policy. This is the first reading. Ms. Brosey, can you go over the changes, please?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Board. In support of our strategic plan goal 4.1 to recruit and retain highly effective staff to Brunswick County Schools, the Human Resources team is recommending an amendment to our Board Policy 7510, our leave policy, to further our goal of offering a highly competitive salary and benefits package for our certified and classified staff. The proposed amendments to this first clarify our most frequently asked questions regarding paid parental leave, which is a state legislative benefit available to all public school system employees, but would address some of the questions and concerns that the HR office fields lots of phone calls regarding. So just to make that information more visible to them, if approved, we will also reflect that change in, or that information in our employee handbook, effective for this school year. So this has already been in practice since July of 2023. It's just making it more visible in our board policy and employee handbooks.
Okay.
The second part of this would be a change to how we currently administer child school involvement leave. This is also a state legislated benefit to our employees, but currently the minimum requirement is that we offer 4 hours of unpaid leave to school system employees to be involved in the education of their child, attend things like awards, banquets, or parent-teacher conferences, things like that. The school system has the option to allow the employee to substitute paid leave that they've accrued if they choose to. What we are proposing is twofold. One, that Brunswick County Schools match the 4 hours and make it 8 for our employees. We have numerous employees who have multiple children in the school system, and that 4 hours can be drained rather quickly, and we would like to afford them the opportunity to take up to 8 hours. And then, subject to the following stipulations, we would like to also allow them not to be deducted leave for that time. And how that would be administered is our treasurers at the school would maintain a spreadsheet of the employees and how much leave they have used. It would be subject to the stipulations outlined in here in the amendment, where the supervisor must agree to the time that they will be away from campus, because student supervision is the top priority. They would be required to submit a written notice at least 2 days in advance of their desired time away from campus. The employer, if need be, can request documentation that they attended the event at the school. And if the child is currently enrolled in Brunswick County Schools, we would like them to be able to use this without the penalty. That would be a stipulation of using it without having to take their own accrued leaves that the child's enrolled in Brunswick County Schools. And then if the employer requested time away that's a half day or more, they would have to use their own leave. So we're thinking small increments of time where they just want to run to a Brunswick County school, to an event related to the child's schooling, and then back to work. And then, of course, for longer things away, it's not going to cover things like field trips or extensive time off. They would have to use their own leave for that. But this is looking to just support our employees to be involved in the education of their children, and to do so without having to use their available leave. So it'll be subject to coverage, available coverage to them. So we would like to recommend, if you have any feedback, we would certainly like to hear that, but would like to recommend that we amend the policy to provide these expanded benefits to our school staff at no cost to the school system.
Any question or discussion from the board?
I just love that second piece, allowing the teachers to be able to leave to go see their students, award ceremonies and things like that. I think that's so important to be able to allow. And I love the 8 hours instead of the 4. So it's a great idea.
Thank you.
And I would point out as well that the students in that teacher's classroom would be better off if they're allowed to pop out and be covered. If they're a teacher at Cedar Grove Middle and they have a child at Supply Elementary, they can shoot over to Supply Elementary, attend the event, and be back within an hour and a half, as opposed to them having to take a half a day of leave, if not the whole day. And then the students in that class at Cedar Grove Middle are without their teacher the whole day. So in the larger scheme of things, I think it's a worthwhile investment to do this.
Absolutely.
Well, and as a former principal, I can tell you that it's happening anyway. I mean, we've always done that and, helped our teachers be able, well, any of our staff be able to go and do that as, if they were in the certified scheme. It's harder with the classified. But I think making it official will be wonderful. I think that's a great thing to do for them.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
motions.
well,
Win-win.
I would like to make one comment. I don't know if you tied it in with our strategic plan, but this is about retention and hiring
Yes, sir.
qualified staff, right?
Yes, sir.
And as was the previous change that we just approved. So I think it's important that we, obviously, that we try to put ourselves in as competitive a position as we can when it comes to hiring, and this is just another way to just stay in the forefront of the places that people want to apply, I think, so. Very good. And I would make a motion that we waive the second reading and go ahead and approve this tonight.
Mr. Gainey's made a motion to approve this tonight and waive the second reading, seconded by Ms. Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, next up, we have discussion announcements from the superintendent.
Can I say one thing before?
You can say two things.
Two things. Going back to the first thing that we did with the change in the contracts, I think it's important to make we went through that pretty quickly because we've seen it, but we forget, that the people that might be watching this are in here or who are in here tonight haven't seen it. They don't really understand some of the thinking and purpose behind it. And again, it's one of our goals, it's tied to our 5-year strategic plan to really make us one of the go-to places to apply for teaching positions. And it also, I would like to say, it puts a premium on performance. I mean, it gives an opportunity for any teacher who has exceeded growth for 2 out of 3 years to get a 4-year rather than a 2-year extension. And so it gives them job security. It's something, that you don't have in a lot of districts, that kind of opportunity to extend that contract out. And so it improves our hiring, the strength of our hiring efforts. And I just think it's important that we, that we let the public know what that was about in a little bit more detail. And I hope that, frankly, that, it's one of just many things that we're going to do as a board in the coming year or 18 months to tie contractual and pay to performance. Mm-hmm. And, you'll never get any better performance typically than when there's a tangible reward waiting for it, So anyway, I think we're moving in the right directions. Thanks, Ms. Brosey, for bringing that to the board's attention to get that done, and that's it for me on that point.
Mr. Cole?
Thank you, sir. I'd add on to what Mr. Gainey said, and that 4-year contract extension doesn't cost us $1. So that's something that we can do without any additional cost to the taxpayer, which is, I think, something that needs to be acknowledged as well. So great idea, and it aligns with our strategic plan and our goal of improving the retention and recruitment of the highest quality staff possible. Just specific to the past month, obviously we had a holiday that we took off for a week. We closed the offices, or I took off a week. Not everybody did, but we closed our offices. One, because of the holiday, but two, also because that is the week every year that the state shuts down Power School. So there's a lot of information that we don't have access to during that week. And so it just made sense for that to be a good time for people to take vacations. I did want to reiterate, we talked about this at committee, but just for folks that watch the regular session only. On June 11th, we had an Employee of the Year luncheon in Southport, where we celebrated all of our different employees of the year, Principal of the Year, Teacher of the Year, Teacher Assistant of the Year, Operations Staff of the Year, and that was followed up with a retirement dinner for all of our retirees, folks that are retiring from Brunswick County Schools this summer. And I just wanted to reiterate what a fantastic job I thought Ms. Brosie's team did in setting that up. I had a great time. All of the people that attended told me that it was the best event that they had ever attended. So congrats to you guys. Thank you for all of your hard work on that. I know it was a lot of work. I think it was worth
It
it.
was great.
And then third, I did want to just make sure that the board was aware that I was out of the office in Asheville, June 25th to the 27th, attending the North Carolina State Superintendents Association Conference. They always have a summer conference in Asheville. And at that, we get legal updates, we get budget updates if we have a budget, which we don't currently. So chop, chop, state legislators, let's get a budget. And also I had an opportunity to meet with a friend, the Dr. Anthony Jackson, Superintendent of Chatham County Schools, who was sort of a co-partner in using Yonder pouches at his schools this past year. We had put together a lunch to sort of exchange reports on how things went and how they did things, how we did things. So that was very beneficial as well. And last, I did want to pull up, if we could pull up a copy of the Pledge of Allegiance poster. Mr. Gainey had submitted an idea for putting together a poster for all of our classrooms, or at least all of our homeroom classrooms. We have the Pledge of Allegiance every morning in all of our schools. And we typically do have a Pledge of Allegiance put up somewhere, but it tends to be on a paper-sized document, and sometimes it can be hard to see. And so I think the idea was to have something that was large enough to just make it easy to see, and also include a little descriptor under each of the sections of the pledge to just give some of the why behind the different lines in the pledge. So I wanted to thank him for that work. He put a lot of time into that. We had one of our local businesses put together an example for us. We've got one more change that we need to make. We got a comma that we need to fix. I can't help it. I'm a high school English teacher, so that comma is going to have to be fixed.
I would find it in a minute if you did.
So, but we're going to get that fixed, and then we're going to go ahead and work on getting one of these made for each of our homerooms across the district, and try as much as possible to have the poster mounted on the wall underneath wherever the flag is, just because that's where they're going to be facing anyway when they do the Pledge of Allegiance. So, good work, Mr. Gainey.
Thank you. Motion to go to closed session.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moffett.
Second?
Second by Ms. Cook. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like what? Make a motion to approve the personnel list.
If I could have a motion to approve the personnel list, motion was made by Ms. Cook,
Second.
second by Ms. Moffett. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And
And to adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Ms. Cook,
Second?
second by Ms. Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye, aye.